Welcome one and all to another edition of the Defo with Lubie here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, brought to you by Water Cleanup of Florida. Do you have a water leak and can't find where it's coming from? Are you dealing with water or mold damage in your home or business? Then call Water Cleanup of Florida at 954-579-0356 for immediate assistance. Now you may say, leaks, what? Who's worried about a leak? Believe me, you don't want to be worried about a leak. And Water Cleanup of Florida will make sure before it becomes a problem, before it becomes an issue, they will take care of it for you. Again, just give them a call, 954-579-0356. Michael, Robert, their entire team with over 60 years of combined experience. The fact that they're available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The fact that they're fully licensed and insured and certified to provide the one-stop shopping that most people, at least like myself, would love to have. Water Cleanup of Florida are your people. If you have any water issues, if you find a leak, think you have a leak, if you see some water bubbling up, Water Cleanup of Florida are the people you want to call, especially since they have service areas, including Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach County. Water Cleanup of Florida are your people for your leak issues. Just call Michael anytime on his personal cell at 954-579-0356. That's 954-579-0356. Or visit our website at WCUFL.com. Plus, check us out on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Water Cleanup FL. Hey, head over to Google with 70-plus five-star reviews. Water Cleanup of Florida, you have the schmutz. We have the guts. Now, it was interesting this preseason because we know the preseason only matters so much, but the Miami Dolphins kept getting better and better and better. And this past Saturday, played their best game. Yeah, the Eagles didn't show much. The Dolphins didn't show a lot. And the Dolphins still put up 48 points in a preseason game. Talk with John Congemi today. Miami Dolphins Phinsider guy that you can see in the pre-games and the post-games. And he does the Sunday Dolphins show for CBS 4. Longtime ESPN college football analyst. And each and every Monday he joins us on Dateline Dolphins, Pigskin Playbook, whatever you want to call it. We talked lots of Dolphins today with John Congemi here on the Defo Show with Lubie on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
It's a pleasure for me because it's the first time in a while we've had a chance to not only talk to but see the handsome one himself. We should just nickname him Ponce, as in De Leon, because he's found a fountain of youth, this cat. The great John Congemi joins us for what was known, Dateline Dolphins. What do you think, John? Do we broaden the scope of the title of this segment? Because you would go far beyond in this hour just talking about the Miami Dolphins. Hell, we even dabble into a little bit of golf. But what do you think? Pigskin Palooza, is that a track that maybe is a little misguided? What do you think?
I don't know, Defo. I might need a week to ponder this. This is pretty, fastball's coming at me at 8:04 in the morning here about a name change.
We're renaming the show. Yeah. You should have just said, call my agent. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like Dateline Dolphins. We dabble into other stuff, but I think it might be a special year to have it Dateline Dolphins because it could be a year that the Dolphins have high expectations, and we're going to be talking a lot about them, hopefully in a positive manner. So let's take a week to think about it.
Have you pivoted? I'm sensing maybe a little bit of a change of approach here in what we think is the most important statistic of the year, and that would be the over-under number for the Dolphins for the season at 8.5. Because I'm a believer, and you were saying schedule and this and that, unproven.
Being a realist.
What do you think now? I mean, have you seen enough to become a believer here?
I've seen enough at practice, and I've seen enough in the work ethic, and I've seen enough in what they've been able to do in a couple of weeks here during training camp that makes me believe that teams might fear the Miami Dolphins and going up not only on the offense,
fear,
but on
I like
the
that
defensive side of the football. If Byron Jones, and this is going to be for me the key to the whole defense, if he can come back and be able to play week 1, week 2 at a level that's even close to what he's done in the past, I think this Dolphin defense has a chance to be really good. And that's, I haven't even mentioned Tua or Tyreek or Jalen Waddle or, Edmonds at running back and the guys that are coming on at wide receiver or the offensive line that struggled early and and maybe coming along now and finding their groove with Armstead getting in week 1. So I'm still right on the fence with the 9-10 if it's a solid season, and 11 if it's getting to rarefied air. But I think this team's going to be really good. And the way I look around the league at the preseason games, especially in the division, Buffalo's going to be a tough out. There's no doubt about it. They're the favorite. They're the favorite not only in the AFC East, but in the NFL. But New England and the Jets, wow, if we can't steal 4 games there, this team isn't what I think it could be.
Well, look, John, and I get it's just a preseason, so when we see good or bad, we're supposed to take it with a grain of salt. I understand. But we didn't see Armstead. I don't think Waddle played at all. Tyreek Hill finally got Waddle. Yeah. I think and Hill did the same thing where Waddle did like 1 drive 2 games ago. Hill did 1 drive. But what we saw was very interesting from them, even being limited. They finally ran the ball really well this past game. And again, the Eagles didn't play their starters. But they weren't playing Armstead either. And Tua just, I don't know, it just felt, the quarterback play period, I mean, between Skylar Thompson and Tua, felt different. The guys felt more confident. They felt more emboldened. And instead of seeming trepidatious to make a play, you saw them make more plays. Like Tua, the deep ball. And it wasn't even a perfect throw, and he said it. Even his bad throw was still 51 yards, and they scored 2 plays later. 2 passes from Tua later. You know, Skylar Thompson, the 7th-round pick, is a guy that's the talk of the league. Even Bridgewater, after the safety, looked good. Like, the entire offense just seems to have a... Defo always talks about it. Like, last year, you'd see them score that first drive, and then they'd go into a shell. You didn't see that the entire preseason. They put up... Like, when do you see 48 points in a preseason game? Like, this offense isn't the ugly stepbrother. Like, the defense and the offense seem like they feed off of each other in a way we haven't seen in a long time for this team.
Well, it has a lot to do with talent on the offense and gathering talent behind your starters. I think that's where the Dolphins have really done a good job in developing guys in an offense that accentuates what you do well, right? So Mike McDaniel comes in, and he's going to give you different formations. He's going to give you different route trees, different combinations on who he wants where, predicated on play action pass, which gives defenses some hesitation because even though, the Dolphins aren't known in years past to be able to beat you on the ground, when you stick the football out, it's like a magnet for everybody's eyes, no matter what position you play on defense. And those linebackers tend to get up towards the line of scrimmage like they're going for, feeding frenzy. Everybody's got to get in and see what's going on. And it's creating more space in the passing game. And they're doing it with faster players. And the ball's coming out on time, where Tua's very rarely did he hold the football during the preseason. There's been a couple of practices at training camp where you go, wow, I don't know, maybe he regressed today, or maybe it was the defense just had, a better hand, or maybe, it was Tampa Bay or the Eagles doing this or that when they had joint practices. But it was very rare. This offense has been rolling and been clicking, and I have to give credit to the head coach, the coaching staff, and most importantly, the players, because they're taking what they're seeing in the meeting rooms and the different motions and the different schemes and why guys are doing things to get others open. And then the decision-making from Tua at the quarterback spot makes this thing work. So you've got fast twitch players at running back that don't need a whole lot of room to run the football. And you've got Tua playing at a higher level. It sets this team up for a lot more success than I felt like they had a chance for a couple months ago.
Yeah. John Congemi, man. See, we respect you, John. I mean, we clown around, but when we have a guy like you on, we're figuring, all right, we're getting a real deal here. This is Evander Holyfield. And we're going to get the truth. And, you were skeptical about the 8 and a hook, and I thought, how could this team be worse? It's almost impossible to conceive of than it was a year ago when they started out 1-7.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to have won 9 games in that season, was remarkable, winning 8 out of 9 in the latter stages, second half, essentially. How could they be worse? I mean, they look like they're a lot better. Tua seems to be happy. Like in the past, he was always smiling, but it seemed like one of those deals like we always talk about with the Hank Aaron tribute to Barry Bonds when he broke the record of, 755, and they pulled back, and there were guys like holding machine guns to Aaron's head, after they pulled the hood off him. Yeah, right, like hooded guys. So, And it didn't seem like he was really all that happy, but he seems genuinely to be, pleased, comfortable, much more comfortable than he's been. And I would imagine that's, a tribute to Mike McDaniel, who I want to believe this is going to work. I mean, I like this guy. Seems to know what he's doing, and the way he comports himself, he just seems to have like a good handle on the modern day athlete and being able to, be relatable to like the youngest of guys on the roster and the veterans that he's counting on, which aren't, he doesn't have like a lot of old guys to deal with anyway, by any standard. It's a fairly young roster. So I don't know. I mean, Mike McDaniel, very impressive to me so far. Maybe it all falls apart once the lights go on, but what do you think so far? I mean, from what you observed, you've been a lot closer to it, John.
That's been my read, Defo, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure what to expect because you felt like from afar, is this guy for real? Is this really going to work? Is this always going to be, laughing every press conference, that somebody's going to, make a joke and make a wisecrack or do something that deflects from the football team. But he always seems to bring it back around to the team and each individual relationship that he has with the players on the team and coaches and staff, and it goes deeper. So I do believe this guy is genuine, and this is what you're getting every time, no matter if you like it or not. And it seems so far, we haven't seen adversity hit at all, but it seems so far that this team has been able to respond. And the biggest kingpin that you have to trigger is your quarterback, and he's responded probably the easiest because I don't know if some guys, when Jimmy, we play the clip that, some guys need to be loved, some guys need to be cussed, some guys need to do this. I think Mike McDaniel has that edge to him because there was a practice that he brought the team in, and I think he read them the riot act and he challenged them. And he challenged them in a modern way that they could understand. And they responded the next day. They came out and had a great practice, but it was brutal for the offense at the end of a session in one of the days a couple of weeks ago. But I do think that he does take that extra step to get to know his players. And I think with Tua, he's hitting the right buttons so far. He's been able to, kind of pat him on the back, but let him know when he makes mistakes that he needs to respond to the team. He needs to be the guy that does it, and he needs to show an example. And I think that so far it's working. Whatever McDaniel is doing right now, it's working because he's hitting all the right buttons in the preseason.
Yeah, it wasn't like Joe Philbin getting mad one day, where people said, "Oh, look, Philbin's mad." I didn't know he could get mad. I mean, because this guy was such a good guy and it's such an endearing character, or seemed to be with the team, and he had done a terrific job of creating this symmetry between, the head coach and the players. And then one day he's all pissed off. And I would imagine, that would get people's attention. And you actually, and others had speculated, like, can this guy get mad?
Yep.
And get that kind of respect from the players. And, it's one of those things where, I mean, I didn't mean to piss him off. So you're thinking you're going to respond if you're a player and go about the business the way that he was asking you to. Seems to have garnered a lot of respect for a guy that hadn't coached a game. And looked like he kind of knew what he was doing. All right, we're getting a lot of suggestions here. The Pigskin Palooza, I think it puts you, I don't want to have like any kind of like clownish connotations associated with a John Congemi. I mean, I'm watching you on CBS the other day. You're carrying Bo Camper. Kim's coming up with stuff, and you're like, nah, that ain't the way it is. No, it was great. And so I don't know. Pigskin Palooza is a little far-fetched for me.
What about
a lot of
Pigskin
people are pushing for that.
Prognosis? Pigskin Prognosis.
It's a little deep, though. I mean,
That's
isn't
too
it?
deep now.
Prognosis. It sounds like you're being diagnosed for, whether you got, cancer or not. I don't know.
That's what
like
John
the golf
does.
stuff.
He diagnoses football for us, football of all levels. He diagnoses it.
I was thinking of something simple like Pigskin Preview, but that implies that we're not going to talk about anything that happened in the past. It's a real problem, John. It's becoming a real problem
here. We've got an issue on our hands, guys.
Dolphins Report Plus. That was a suggestion from the great Jim Stoney, but that's kind of come on, Jim. That's not exactly a flashy, catchy headline type of thing where you go, "Wow, I can't wait to hear Dolphins Report Plus." With John Congemi. All right, we'll work on that. Dateline Dolphins will have to suffice for now. And we've been talking primarily about the Dolphins. All right. There's always the surprise guys. And, we've been kind of touching on this through the show where, you knew if you were an observer, an analyst, whatever your job was around the National Football League, where you had to, you were talking about or writing about a team, that after the fourth preseason game, all of us, that's when everybody was on edge because like an hour later, they were coming out with the cuts.
Yeah, right.
A friend of mine, the late, great Jim McKinley, was telling me about, they were actually pulling the tape off the locker in the third quarter because the guy was going to get cut, when he was with the Oklahoma Outlaws of the USFL.
Oh, Jesus.
But I mean, there was a definition to it. So what do you make of what's happening? Are there surprises? I mean, is there a guy that impressed you that you said, man, we know Skylar Thompson is one, but where if this guy got cut, you would absolutely be astonished.
Oh, man, I don't know. I'd have to say one of the wide receivers, that came along. I liked, Sherfield's on the team. Azukama's on the team.
He's on the team.
Maybe it's River Craycraft who came out of nowhere in this last game because he took the spot of Jalen Waddle. I mean, he's out there with the first team, and not only for the first series, for the second series, for the third series. And I'm not so sure if it's, hey, we're giving River an opportunity to show what he's done in practice, and does it translate into a game with the starters? Or, he earned this position, and he went and took his opportunity and took it even higher. He elevated his spot on the roster. I think it's going to be some of the deletions, Defo and Lubie, that may be surprising Dolphin fans just because of their names. I don't see Preston Williams anywhere on this roster.
Nope.
Wow.
And unfortunately, 2-3 years ago, you think back and go,
he was a camp darling.
Parker,
yeah,
he was the camp darling, and he was the guy that was going to, he's 6'5", he's going to go up and get the ball. We've got two great size wide receivers on the outside. I don't see him making the team. I don't think Mohamed Sanu is, and he didn't do anything to his fault at camp to say like, well, he shouldn't be on the team. But it's just other guys have passed him. And I think, being able to just have that other gear at wide receiver, I don't know if Mohamed still possesses that or not. He looked fine during, one-on-ones and going through, but it's these young guys that have a special gear right now that seem at wide receiver, they're going to be able to, maybe anchor a roster spot where Mohamed's not going to get it. And then the last guy, I think that Sony Michel may not make the roster.
Really?
I think Ahmed and Myles Gaskin have done enough that they go, wow, the same reason. It's not that Sony Michel did anything wrong in the preseason, but when you see the other guys in space with speed and making plays, you go, wow, why aren't I thinking keep him? Because he may give you, if somebody goes down, who's going down on special teams? Who's going down to cover a punt? Who's going down to cover a kick? It's not Sony Michel throughout his career. It's been, Savon Ahmed and Myles Gaskin. And they give you that speed out of the backfield, catching it and doing all the things that Mike McDaniel wants to do in this offense. So those are maybe the surprises on the side that aren't going to be here.
Well, yeah,
the guys on the defensive side, I'm not so sure, if we had one or two stars emerge at corner. I thought Thurl Williams was the guy, and he goes down and gets hurt. And now you're kind of, now you've got Igbenogany back in the mix going, oh, gosh, he's going to be on the roster, but where are we going to put him?
Who he? Yeah.
Lubie,
that was my biggest thing was the surprises solidified themselves in game one. Like Azukama solidified himself, Sherfield solidified himself. And then this game, Craycraft was just open every time he ran a route. So you sort of got to keep him. Yeah. You could tell, look, Williams, they kept putting him out there going, we want you to show us. Please show us. And he showed him. Like, he muffed a punt in a preseason game for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, he was never open. He wasn't making plays. Igbenogany is interesting. He finally started to look a little better in this game. This game, he finally did look better where it's like.
He competed, Lubie, and that's what you want to see out of that guy. Because defensive corner is a different position. Because the only time you're getting noticed is when you're getting burned, basically. Yeah. You're getting your name called out, and it's, you've got 4 or 5 chances in a game to make a play. Yeah. The other ones are just, if the ball comes your way, can you make it a contested catch? Can you, break on the football? Are you in the right spot for a tip pass? And all of a sudden you make a play. And especially the way that Josh Boyer, the defensive coordinator, I mean, these corners are challenging wide receivers. They're up in their face. So you're going to get exposed one way or another. You're either going to make a play or not. And, not has been Igbenogany's, long line last year and early in training camp. But as you said, against the Eagles, you saw his number flash a little bit more. You saw him around the football in a positive manner. And there's got to be a reason why he was reached maybe in the first round as a draft choice. You think back at that, gosh, you could have Jonathan Taylor at running back for the Dolphins or anybody else at that spot. And now you're hoping that he's turning the corner and he can give you something where you can depend on him. If somebody goes down or you're in nickel or dime, you can use him in a positive way.
I can hear it now. I have to maybe go into a little John Facenda mode. Big Skin Playbook is brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. That would have to be, let me take two on that. Big Skin Playbook with John Congemi is brought to you by Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. Mile marker 104, Overseas Highway, Key Largo.
Big thank you to John Congemi for joining us on another edition of Dateline Dolphins. We're going to transition it probably into Pigskin Playbook, but for your purposes, here and every Monday usually, because we have a really enjoyable conversation with John talking a lot of Dolphins. It is Dateline Dolphins. Talked a lot about Tua, a lot about Skylar Thompson, Mike McDaniel. Yes, it's the preseason. You can't take too much from it, but what we can take is that the Dolphins seem to have both an offense and a defense that's very confident, very aggressive, and something we haven't seen down here in South Florida for a long time. Will they get over 8.5 games? It feels like they will. Will they be a playoff team? Not sure. But they will be something that South Florida fans can be excited about and enjoy, which we haven't. Look, the defense has been better, but the offense has been dreadful. Before that, both sides of the ball weren't great. It feels like they're a team that's going to feed off of each other, and they have a coach that's young, creative, fun, but also knows how to motivate his players. It is going to be an interesting season. We are less than 2 weeks away from the NFL season. College football starts this weekend. We'll talk a lot more about that as the week goes on. Thank you to John for joining us. Thank you for checking us out. You can check us out each and every morning on South Florida Live from 7 to 9. Just Google, YouTube, South Florida Live. Go on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at SoFla Live. Check us out on our exclusive national content podcast, the Believe Network, BLEAV.com. Search After Hours. And most days with our South Florida content right here, the Defo Show with Lubie on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.